G.K. Chesterton. The Sign of the Broken Sword. Narrated by Allan Monteiro. The 1,000 arms of the forest were grey, and its 1,000,000 fingers silver. In a sky of dark green blue like slate, the stars were bleak and brilliant like splintered ice. All that thickly wooded and sparsely tenanted countryside was stiff with a bitter and brittle frost. The black hollows between the trunks of the trees looked like bottomless black caverns of that Scandinavian hell, a hell of incalculable cold, for even the square stone tower of the church looked northern to the point of heathenry, as if it was some barbaric tower among the sea rocks of Iceland. It was a queer night for anyone to explore a churchyard, but, on the other hand, perhaps it was worth exploring. It rose abruptly out of the ashen wastes of the forest in a sort of hump or shoulder of green turf that looked grey in the starlight. Most of the graves were on a slant, and the path leading up to the church was as steep as a staircase. On the top of the hill, in one flat and prominent place, was the monument for which the place was famous. It contrasted strangely with the featureless graves all around, for it was the work of one of the greatest sculptors of modern Europe, and yet his fame was at once forgotten in the fame of the man whose image he had made. It showed by touches of the small silver pencil of starlight, the massive metal figure of a soldier recumbent, the strong hands sealed in an everlasting worship, the great head pillowed upon a gun. The venerable face was bearded, or rather whiskered, in the old, heavy Colonel Newcome fashion. The uniform, though, suggested with the few strokes of simplicity, was that of modern war. By his right side lay a sword, of which the tip was broken off. On the left side lay a Bible. On glowing summer afternoons, wagonettes came full of Americans and cultured suburbans to see the sepulchre. But even then, they felt the vast forest land with its one dumpy dome of churchyard and church as a place oddly dumb and neglected. In this freezing darkness of midwinter, one would think he might be left alone with the stars. Nevertheless, in the stillness of those stiff woods, a wooden gate creaked, and 2 dim figures dressed in black climbed up the little path to the tomb. So faint was that frigid starlight that nothing could have been traced about them, except that while they both wore black, one man was enormously big, and the other, perhaps by contrast, almost startlingly small. They went up to the great graven tomb of the historic warrior, and stood for a few minutes staring at it. There was no human, perhaps no living thing for a wide circle, and a morbid fancy might well have wondered if they were human themselves.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?